Okay, this is part 3 of Unit 3A, looking at the use of percentages. So we're going to be solving percentage problems. When you go through all of this reading here, you'll eventually get down to, when we're trying to compare a couple of things, that the final value is equal to this 1 plus p percent times the initial value. So that 1 plus p percent, that's the more than, or if you do 1 minus p, if it's less than. So we're going to convert our percent into, so our more than or less than, we're going to convert that, find the percentage, and then change that percent to a decimal to find the final value or a starting value, depending on what the question is asking. And so these two formulas you see here, they really are the same. The second formula is just solving for initial value by dividing by 100 plus p percent. And again, remember, if we're using something less than, it's decreasing, then we're going to use 1 minus p percent. So let's do some examples just to get an idea as to how these percentage problems are going to work for us. So in this first one, we've got the total, and this is after tax. Cost of a laptop computer was $1,278.24. The local sales tax is 7.6%. What is the retail price or the pre-tax price of this laptop? So if you've got the sales tax amount and you have the total cost after tax, we want to know what did it actually cost before taxes. And so the way we're going to take this one on is we are going to, looking up here, we have a final value. Now the taxes, if we think about it, the tax is an increase. It's you tack that on, so it's more than the original price. So that's going to be the 100 plus p percent there. And what we're trying to find is the initial value. So you'll see that it comes up in this form when we solve this equation. But I'm going to start here, just so you don't have to try and remember two formulas. If you use the one, we can manipulate it to look like the other. So in our case, the final cost here was $1,278.24. Okay, and then that equals, so again, you always start with 100%, so we paid for 100% of this laptop, plus we added on 7.6%. For taxes, for those purposes, and then we have to times it by an initial value, and I'll just call that initial value our favorite variable x. So now I'm going to say this is 1,278.24 equals, so that's 107.6% times x. Well, in order to do our calculations, we're going to change that percent to a decimal so that we don't need that percent sign in there. So you're going to do $1,278.24 equals 1.076, so that is 107.6% changed to a decimal, times x. And then to solve for x, we're going to divide by 1.076. Cancel this out there. So I'm going to have x equals, and when I do that out to the nearest penny, I get $1,187.96. So that is the original or initial price of the laptop without taxes. So that's the pre-tax price. Okay. Let's look at another one here. In 2015, alcohol use amongst high school students was down. So that's a key idea there. So we're decreasing from the previous year by 5.6%. And it decreased down to 35.3%. So what is the usage rate for the previous year? So we know in 2015 that it decreased based off of the previous year, and that in 2015 the new percentage was 35.3%. So we know that the final value is 35.3 equals, and we're going to take 100, but since it decreased by 5.6%, we're going to minus 5.6 on our percentage, and then times it by what's our initial value or our previous year's value for 2014. Again, we'll just call that x. So This would be 35.3 equals, now when I subtract that off of there, then we are going to get 94.4%, still times x, and I'm going to change that 94.4% to a decimal, so this will be 0.944 times x. So I'm going to divide by 0.944, divide by 0.944, and then I'm going to run that in the calculator here real fast. So when I divide these out, so that's going to cancel there, I get x equals, rounded to one decimal place, 37.4, and our initial units were percentage of students. And so the usage rate for 2014 was 37.4%. So again, in 2014, it was 37.4%. Then we saw a 5.6% decrease, so that decreased down to the 35.3%. So our end result there makes sense that in 2014 should be higher than 2015 because we saw a decrease over the year. So that's just one way to kind of double check on your work there. But again, remember when you're doing the calculations, change these percentages to decimals, and then do your calculations thereafter. So that is the end of Unit 3A using percentages. If you do have any questions, please do not hesitate to let me know, and I appreciate your time in watching these videos.